There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonkō Table. That's the voice of GrandMasterHoop coming at you from the helm today. And we are driving this ship into a long, faraway galaxy for the new hit series, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's right. The legendary Jedi of Star Wars mythos has his own series, and it's expanding everything we know about the character and the gaps between episodes 3 and 4, with the primary focus on Obi-Wan Kenobi. With me, as always, is fellow Yonkō, DrJaceAttorney. DrJaceAttorney, how do you feel tackling another Star Wars series for 2022?
I feel excited. Obi-Wan Kenobi is probably the series I've been looking forward to the most out of the ones that were announced back in D23, whenever they do those. What is it, like November?
November, yeah.
Right. This was the one I was excited for the most, especially because Ewan McGregor's coming back. We get Hayden Christensen with Sand and everything coming back. So I'm always excited to see these prequel legacy characters make a return, because you really don't see a lot of you mainly saw the original trilogy legacy characters make their returns in the original trilogy. In the sequel trilogy. But now you get to see some of the prequel ones make a return now, and I think it's kind of cool. I'm not counting R2-D2 and some cameos and whatever, so it's cool to see these two guys back. Aside from that, I have some critical things to say about the first 2 episodes, and I don't know, maybe talking it out, maybe I'll be more lenient and understanding, but I will note there were some moments that kind of pulled me out as I was watching it, but
that's fair. I mean, there's a lot to take away. It's a 2-part premiere. It's got, I think, a giant weight on its shoulders. Boba Fett was kind of mixed reviews from audiences. Mandalorian is highly praised, but yeah, like you said, they brought back some of these prequel trilogy characters, and they got to bridge a gap, and they're going to hone in on this relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and that's a big weight. And this is the first live action series thus far to take place between episodes 3 and 4, with everything else having taken place after episode 6. So they got some shoes to fill, and we'll see. But before we deep dive these 2 episodes for the premiere, let's see what supernovas will be joining us in hyperspace. All right, let's get down to it. So like you said, Obi-Wan, it's following the prequels. It's after number 3. Well, shoot, goodness gracious, I feel we got to talk about Obi-Wan first. Obi-Wan as a character. I think, when you have this show, you need to think about where has Obi-Wan been left off mentally? Where is he physically? And what is going to be the driving motivation for him? And can Ewan McGregor jump right back into the shoes of Obi-Wan? And I think he's fantastic. I think he hasn't missed a beat. And I'm really digging the portrayal. I mean, it's formulaic to a point, the war-torn, lost, no more hope, no more,
right.
Right. He's like,
we've seen it before.
We've seen it before, but it's different this time. And I think for me, the biggest difference with this portrayal of Obi-Wan is that he's like hanging on to one thread of hope, which is Luke for him. Yeah, I don't even think he's worried about Leia in the beginning of the series.
Interesting.
Right. But he has not gotten over the loss of Anakin. And I'm surprised 10 years after the fact, he's still, dealing with this. So I really like what we saw in part 1, initially in that beginning.
Isn't that surprising though?
Which part? That he's still holding on to this?
Isn't that surprising? I mean, like his whole Jedi Order came crashing down because of him and his inability to train Anakin. It's like not only did he like lose Anakin, but like he lost all his friends, he lost all his livelihood, he got to hiding. He kind of lost it all. His probably sense of self, his self-esteem, just everything. I mean, I don't know if you could start this anywhere else besides Obi-Wan just kind of being in shambles, to be honest.
Well, let me say this. I don't disagree with you. Should Obi-Wan be putting all the blame on himself? I don't think he should be doing that. I get the personal, I failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. But he shouldn't put that on himself. I mean, the Jedi are flawed, man. They let Order 66 happen, which, by the way, great opening sequence.
I really like that opening.
I have my thoughts on that opening sequence. Yeah, actually, if you've been on our TikTok, I kind of went into my thoughts on that. But do you really want to put that on Obi-Wan's shoulders, all of that?
I think the cool thing I've always liked about Star Wars is that the Jedi are supposed to be kind of like these monsters who kind of like have their emotions in check, and they're, kind of at peace with things. They know not to form connections when it comes to certain things. But at the end of the day, they're all human. They're all human. Anakin, maybe more than anybody. And so I do think Obi-Wan, he's choosing it to put it upon himself. It's just like the human kind of reaction I think a lot of people would have to the Republic fell because, I mean, not the reason, but shoulders. So
I understand, the human component of Obi-Wan for sure. But I think he's being a little too hard on himself. But that's okay. It's like, that was his brother. And he watched holocrons of him killing younglings and all their allies and friends. So I can see why he's still, haunted by those memories. But on top of that, too, here he is now having to protect the children of Anakin, And I think that's a cool... I think that was a really good thing to narrow in as far as this characterization of what's going to be depicted in this series. So far, I'm good. I'm good with what we're given with Obi-Wan, and that back and forth, whether or not he's to blame for everything. I think it'll be interesting to see play out, because right now, he's at the lowest of lows. I mean, he's just working in a factory. And oh my gosh, he's not helping any Jedi on the run.
He is not.
That's kind of sad. It's like,
there's a couple things early on that I liked. One of it was the scene where he kind of watches the guy get shorted. Like he gets like half his pay, and you kind of like see it, and like, Obi-Wan's Ben's eyes that like maybe I should do something, maybe I should use a Jedi mind trick, maybe I should like force this guy to like pay what he owes this man, but he doesn't do anything, and I feel like that really captured like where he's at in this moment, where he's just like kind of staying in his very small lane and just keeping him to himself, not being a Jedi, to be honest.
No, I agree. I kind of liked how they portrayed Obi-Wan as kind of keeping to himself right now, because it kind of adds into that whole sense of like him feeling defeated. Like he's so defeated, aside from blaming everything on himself with the Jedi Order and Anakin and everything. Like he even views himself as helpless in the face of something that he could clearly help with. Like, as Hooperlino said, you could just use a Jedi mind trick or something, or sneak off some pay or even give some of his pay to the guy. But no, he's like, I can't do anything. I know it's wrong what's happening right here, but I just won't do it. And then it goes into like the whole thing with the Jedi. I forgot his name. I don't think we get a name of that Jedi later on?
Oh man, I thought his name was, he was played by Ben Safdie, one of the Safdie brothers. If you ever watched that movie, what's that movie with Adam Sandler?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Yeah, he's one of the brothers who directed it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool, really random.
That is cool.
But yeah, oh man, I forgot his name. Or is that one of the brothers? I could have sworn that was one of the brothers. Maybe I'm crazy.
He did look familiar. But I mean, even with a Jedi, someone that's coming out as a Jedi saying like, hey,
Nari. Sorry.
Nari.
Nari is his name. Yes.
Nari. Got it. Yeah, he's a Jedi out on the run, needs help, goes to Obi-Wan, probably one of the high-ranking people that he looked up to in the Jedi Order. And Obi-Wan's like, no, what great fight are you talking about? We're not gonna, rise up in a revolution. The Jedi Order's done, man. Go home. Or actually, he doesn't even acknowledge that he's Obi-Wan. He's like, you got the wrong person, man.
I mean, he knows he found him, but he's like, my name's Ben. He's really leaning into the Ben persona, which is crazy because knowing who we see as Ben in episode 4, Ben is hopeful. Ben is,
right,
willing to teach Luke and go help Leia. So seeing this version of Ben, Ben is supposed to be a whole new mindset versus just an alias to hide who he is.
Right.
We need Obi-Wan back and no more Ben. Ben ain't gonna cut it.
I'm calling it now. They better pay homage to the meme quality of the prequels in this series. So for example, when he finally embraces the Obi-Wan, his name, he's not willing to hide from it anymore. Towards the end, he's gonna drop in from like the ceiling, whatever, with his lightsaber, pseum, and then someone's gonna exclaim, Obi-Wan, and instead of saying no, I'm not Obi-Wan, I'm Ben, he's gonna say, hello there.
Oh God, he's not. Absolutely
yes,
not.
He is. Yes, he is. Let's do it. I'm calling it now.
That's such wishful thinking.
I'm calling it.
Part of Obi-Wan's journey to now deals with actually, before we get into that surprise component that we all hit or miss for some, let's talk the Inquisitors, okay? So the Inquisitors are the big bad. They are, and for those who are not familiar with the Star Wars lore, the Inquisitors are handpicked by Darth Vader. No, they're handpicked.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. And they're basically just Force-sensitive children, whether they were Jedi at one point or they were just younglings or foundlings, and they woo them to the dark side and they go out and do Vader's bidding. And I always liked the Inquisitors. If you ever played Jedi Fallen Order, I think that was a really good interpretation of the Inquisitors.
It was really good.
Yeah, with like the second sister and the ninth sister. Those are really fun.
Those were the numbers that
in Fallen Order, yeah, those are who we met. The ninth sister was the big one.
Okay.
And the second sister was the girl.
Okay. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Right. So who we have here? We have the Grand Inquisitor, who, and when we talk about part 2, we'll talk about the controversy here.
Yes.
Right. Grand Inquisitor, who's the lead of the Inquisitor. So he's like, I guess, number 2 to Vader. The fifth brother, that's Han from Fast and Furious. If you didn't know that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was someone because okay. No, that makes
right.
sense.
And then we got, I guess, I feel she's gonna be our in for the Inquisitors. Fifth sister? Is she fifth?
I think fifth.
I think the third
Third.
sister. Third sister. Doesn't that ring a bell?
Let me see.
Too many
Third
numbers.
sister, yes.
Third sister. Okay.
Reva is
Reva.
the third sister, and I guess she's gonna be the one we're gonna spend a lot of time with. But yeah, they're hunting Jedi, but Reva seems to be hell bent on finding Obi-Wan for some strange reason. I feel she's gonna be the most talked about. What did y'all think about Reva and just the Inquisitors in general?
I like the incorporation of the Inquisitors. I always like it when they're on screen. I've known them. I think I could be wrong, but I think they were first introduced in Rebels.
Yes, Rebels was the first.
Okay.
Inquisitors, yeah.
Right. And I think since then, whenever they try to incorporate some kind of like dark force, users into this era of Star Wars, they always try to somehow use the Inquisitors and the Inquisition in those storytelling beats. But I really like the Inquisitors and Obi-Wan. I don't know how I feel about Reva. And it mainly just comes from how her character is being portrayed. Like I know she's supposed to be like a very impulsive, gung-ho Inquisitor, and she has some obsession with Obi-Wan. We don't know where that obsession stems from, if it's just he's like the last beacon of the Jedi Order, so I really want to kill him, or if it's something more personal. But I don't know. I just did as soon as, maybe it's the way she's portraying her ruthlessness. I feel like she's kind of overselling it, if that makes sense. Like, I think the first scene that she's in, which is that scene at the, I guess the bar, the canteen.
My background.
The saloon, right.
Yeah.
It's something that she says. I can't remember exactly what it was, but her line delivery with it, she like gave it like kind of like a raspy delivery. I don't know. Maybe I have to rewatch the scene again, but I just did not. From then on, I was like, ooh, is this gonna be the portrayal from here on out? And turns out it was. I just didn't like it. I'm not a fan of Reva for now. Maybe I'll grow into her as the series goes on. Maybe she'll have more personality. But yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm also not feeling the rest of the Inquisitors, but I know that's not the point because they're just supposed to be the villains, I guess. So Reva's supposed to be, like you said, our in with this group, to try and see what their deal is, what they're trying to do and everything. But I'm not here for Reva. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'll grow into her.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the overselling point was like a good point. Because I didn't really connect with her that much either. It's like funny. I think it's probably a problem that I think these in-between stories might have, but it's like, I know Obi-Wan lives. I know he's going to be fine. I know Leia's going to be fine. And it's like, how menacing can this person be? You know what I mean? And so she's going for like this kind of, menacing angle, but I'm like, I know she's not going to hurt my characters. You know what I mean? So it can only do so much. I did find interesting her relationship with, I guess, the Grand Inquisitor. It kind of like in my mind brought back memories of like Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Exactly.
Exactly. I felt like there were some like parallels between like kind of being, the disobedient subordinate. And so I'm curious if that, because now at the end of episode 2, Grand Inquisitor is no longer with us, unfortunately. So they won't be able to like, expand on that too much, but I'm curious if they're going to follow that parallel anywhere with in terms of like her relationship to Anakin, possibly, when we get some more screen time of Darth.
And see, that is my whole take with Reva as well. She's giving Anakin so much like brash, impatient, but I do understand what you're saying with the ruthlessness, and maybe that's just the characterization and some of the acting on her part. Some of it I did not buy for sure, but I definitely, when it was like with her and the Grand Inquisitor, and especially in part 1, she was very, like, you could clearly see the distaste of her having to listen to the Grand Inquisitor.
Right.
But now I'm just curious more about, they all submit to Vader. So it's like, did she have a one-on-one with him prior to all this, to where she worships him more than any others, and that's what drives the obsession to get Obi-Wan? Or theory, calling back to the beginning of the episode, if you go rewatch that Order 66 sequence, there happens to be a little youngling who resembles Reva a little bit. And well, I mean, that's not even like saying too much, because that's like the case with many of these, in between stories of the Jedi that survived. They survived Order 66 and they either went to the dark side or are just in hiding. So I guess it begs the question, did she have any interactions with maybe Obi-Wan in that 10-year gap? Or, what's her relationship to Anakin? But we'll obviously get more. Yeah, right now I feel like, the fifth brother hasn't really given much. And then, with the Grand Inquisitor by the end of part 2, that's up in the air. And that might be a giant retcon. Which I don't. That glaring
of a retcon.
Well, it's crazy too, because I forgot that Rebels is Disney's first Star Wars project.
It is, yeah.
Right. So it's crazy to think maybe they just, I don't know, forgot, but it's like, Disney, hello.
That happened in their first season.
Right, exactly. And it's like, come on, like, are you? And again, he might be alive. Some people think he got stabbed in the lower abdomen. So we don't know. But I would really hope they did not make a mistake and retcon that, because I also read Deborah Chow, who's directed every episode of this series, is a big Star Wars fan. And I'm like talking like Rebels, Clone Wars,
right,
Mandalorian. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. And we'll talk more when we get to part 2. I think the biggest thing, other than what we've already said, thing for part 1 that we have not talked about is
Owen.
Well, we didn't mention Owen. I do like Owen. Oh, I mean, he's not the biggest. Owen, I do like Owen's. I like what's going on with Owen.
I like Owen.
That was a cool scene.
He's a dick.
That's probably the best scene with Reva, was her and Owen, I thought.
For part 1, yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
But Owen is an ass. I don't know if I like him and I get it, but do you have the right? Do you really know what happened?
Of course he has the right.
Why? No, he doesn't.
Why would he trust Ben with his child? Well,
hello. Obi-Wan gave him to Owen first, so he did not have to give him to Owen, but does Owen really know what happened? I don't think he knows what happened.
I think he kind of alluded.
Yeah, he's aware that the Jedi fell. He's aware that Anakin's no longer alive.
Is he aware that Anakin killed younglings?
We don't know to what extent.
I don't think that.
But he even made a comment saying like, the way you failed Anakin. And it was like, oh, dude, good God.
Oh, man.
But it makes it aware that he kind of knows. To what extent, we don't know. Because this is always the tricky part of the grand knowledge of the galaxy, of what they know about like the Jedi, who Darth Vader really is. In some cases, if Darth Vader even exists. right?
Yeah, Darth Vader's kind of like a legend in some parts of the galaxy.
Right.
Like a myth. I'm sorry, a myth. Like they don't know that he's a thing.
Right, exactly. And there's only like a select few that know Anakin didn't actually die. He became Darth Vader. And you'd be surprised how many close characters that you would think like, oh yeah, this person clearly knows that Anakin became Darth Vader. But they don't. You know, right now, Obi-Wan doesn't know, right? He doesn't, yeah.
Well, no,
he knows the name. Well, yeah.
Well, no, he knows. He knows Darth Vader,
the name.
He
doesn't know that's Anakin.
No.
I think he does.
He knows.
He does.
Remember, he watched the holocron in episode 3.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
right.
No, what this series tells us is in that 10 years, he didn't know Darth Vader was still running around. And that might just because they're out in the outer rim in Tatooine, you know? And maybe this is the first time the Inquisitors and the Imperial came looking for Obi-Wan, to the point where, you know, like news, it's hard for news to reach out there.
Well, they're going to learn today, because you had that one farmer that tried to speak up saying, this is the outer rim. The Empire has no reach. Oh,
Every time you reach for your hand, you'll think about us.
Very intimidating.
Very
Sends a message.
Yes. But I mean, I don't know how much more we'll see of Owen in this series, or Luke for that matter. You know, God forbid they do a little thing where Luke and Leia actually met prior to the.
Oh God.
I won't get on board with that. But speaking of Leia, I think the biggest surprise for everyone was little Leia. Did not think that. I thought that was a very nice surprise. I like the fact, I was like, oh my gosh, it's little Leia. It's Leia. We're on Alderaan, a planet we really didn't get to see because, you know, it got blown up and whatever. But yeah, not only little Leia, but we got Jimmy Smits back as Bail Organa. And yeah, now we get to see the inner workings of Alderaan and see little Leia running around. I know some people are indifferent about little Leia. I'm just going to throw this on the table right now.
All right.
I like the seeds of Princess or General or Leia Organa in this little girl. I think she's doing a good job. I like that. It's just, you know, she's kind of, you know, back against the wall. She's not an Organa, so they're trying to put her in, you know, this little corner, and she's rising above. She's giving seeds of the Leia that we know, and that's what I like. And then also, if you want, you can also say, and I think part 2 does it really well too. You see the seeds of the parents, the actual parents, in little Leia. And that's what I like about little Leia. I may not like what transpired, Dr. Jace. I know you have your thoughts about the kidnapping of little Leia.
Yeah, before Dr. Jace goes and we give him the floor, I did think it was a nice surprise. You know, I think it was more than anything, just like heartwarming in a way. It's like, oh, Leia, of course, we love her. You know, we love Carrie Fisher's performance. You know, and so. Just as a surprise element, it definitely touched something within me. I think I was excited just to spend some time with her on Alderaan, and then the kidnapping happens, and you know, it takes an unexpected turn, to say the least. I think Dr. Jace has more thoughts on that.
Do you mean the chase sequence that ensued?
Sure.
Oh, so you have gripes with the immediate chase sequence?
I have. It was terrible, terrible. And
Leia should not be that fast.
Leia should not be that fast. The guy who was in the Piccolo cosplay in the back that was chasing her. This guy was waddling. I could tell he was giving her a head start, and I'm like, come on, man, you guys got to sell this. You got to make it see. And you know, I get it, right? Because they were trying to sell this side of Leia where she doesn't like being the diplomatic princess.
What a common trope.
Right.
It was giving Brave. It was giving Brave. Pixar's Brave.
Heavy Brave. Funny enough, I recently saw the movie, so yes, it's very, very reminiscent of that. So and they want to show that she is more at home, like out in the wilderness, just being free, having fun, and so she knows the woods. She knows the outside more than she knows, how to be diplomatic and act like a princess. So I get that when she's doing these camera angled power slides underneath branches and everything, it's supposed to show like, oh, look how agile she is. These grown ass people, they can't keep up. They're tripping over themselves. They're slipping on banana peels and running into branches. That honestly, there are other problems I kind of have with Leia, but they're not as big as these moments right here. But that chase sequence was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Not well choreographed at all. Definitely.
Not at all. It was bad. And then like there were scenes where like the goons, I get like this is after she was captured. There were scenes in a way that kind of served no purpose in why they were shot. So like, for example, when they captured Leia, I think this was in episode 2. I think it was. And Leia's tied up in her chair and she's like locked in like a room, whatever, in darkness. And one of the goons comes in and I think he says, Leia, oh God. Leia says, my dad is going to send an army to come rescue me. You guys are going to pay. And the goon is like, no one's coming to rescue you. And then he leaves. What was the point of that? Why did a guy come into the room? Like,
he crushed the droid.
Droid. He just threw it on the ground like, I'm evil. I don't like kids. I don't know, man. Scenes like these pull me out because I'm paying attention to these things. And I'm like, okay, what's the purpose of this scene? What's the point that's trying to get across? What's the goal? And I don't know, man. And then because of scenes like that, I then attribute it to scenes involving Leia. And then I start assuming, okay, so any scenes involving Leia are going to include silliness like this, where it's just pointless, babble going on. I don't know, but
I think these are all good points. Just to like double down. It's like I think these trailers and kind of like what they were selling you on was like kind of like this Star Wars noir. If The Mandalorian was like a Western, this was gonna kind of be more of a gritty kind of like you expected, I don't know, Obi-Wan solving like some crimes or whatever. And you thought it'd be a little darker, have like, the sleuth Obi-Wan that we get, like, I think in Attack of the Clones with him trying to solve the assassination attempt and things like that. But then you throw in baby Leia, which I don't know if that term is caught on yet, but I imagine it's
I like little Leia for the alliteration.
Okay, little Leia. I'm cool with that too.
Okay.
When you get little Leia, it really does shift the tone. It does really make it feel more kiddish. It feels like the ceiling for like the grittiness this show could have gone in, especially with the Leia scenes, now is like lower than what we may have been expecting. Because the Leia scenes, even though it was like kind of cool seeing her, it definitely adds this extra layer of humor, kind of like jokiness,
comfortability thing. It's like, it's like you said, we thought it was going to be dark and now we know they can't go too dark because we have a child here. And I dare even call it the baby Grogu effect.
I was going to mention that
because, as episode 2 would imply, now it's their journey, and then in the Mandalorian, Mandalorian was, portrayed, like you said, as a Western. And then by episode
very,
1,
very well kept secret.
a very well kept secret,
of Baby
Yoda. And now it's
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
right. And now it's their journey. And now we watch this dynamic, whether it be father-son or reluctant father, reluctant daughter type of scenario or whatnot. It's an interesting. I mean, I think in Obi-Wan, there's more layers to this dynamic. However, it is the effect of this brings in a, a G-rated tone type of essence to it, to what could have been a really just dark, gritty thing. So let me ask, are we okay with this being the driving plot to get Obi-Wan out of hiding? Bail Organa's ask him to come save his daughter. Is this what you want to be the moving factor to get Obi-Wan to become Obi-Wan again?
I think I'm open to it. Like, I guess when they first introduced Leia, it was a nice surprise because no one was expecting it. None of the trailers hinted at a little Leia being in this series, and it does kind of tone down what you guys were saying earlier, where we thought it was gonna be like a gritty noir type of story of Obi-Wan eventually building up to the climax with Vader, but now since little Leia's there, it's kind of like, okay, so there's a child now with you, so what are you gonna do, or how far are you willing to go? For all we know, this might not be an ongoing plot thread. Maybe this is the thing that brings Obi-Wan out of hiding, and then in episode 3, maybe the actual plot kicks in without little Leia.
Oh, so a one and done type of rescue.
It might be a one and done type of, like we might get maybe 1 or 2 more episodes with little Leia, and then from there, however the plot is gonna progress, it involves less of Leia, but we occasionally see her every now and then. I just don't want them to just copy and paste what was successful with The Mandalorian and be like, well, let's include a legacy baby character into the mix because everyone loves Baby Yoda. Everyone loves Yoda, so let's include a baby version of Yoda in Mandalorian. Everyone loves Leia. Let's include a baby version or little Leia into the mix. So it does give off those kind of vibes. And I mean, the parallels are there. They were both well-kept secrets up to the release of both series. So, but I mean, if this is an ongoing journey where this is supposed to be Leia with Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan learning, there's someone this small that wants to make a change, sees the injustice in the world and all that stuff. Maybe that's what they're gonna go with, and that's what wakes Obi-Wan up to be in the Ben that we know later on. I guess we'll see, but I don't know. I guess I need to see a couple more episodes with them together. I did like their dynamic a little bit. Some of the back and forth banter that they had. It was kind of funny. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but I remember giving a small chuckle here and there. Like,
doesn't she call him out for his name Ben, being like, that's not a Jedi name?
That's not a Jedi name.
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny. That was
funny.
And she's like, make me float if you're a Jedi. He's like, what are you talking about?
No, I won't. But I like that.
And see that is why I say, and now we can start, talking about part 2. The dynamic versus, Mandalorian and Grogu, Baby Yoda, you just watch their dynamic. This is a layered dynamic because this is Obi-Wan who failed Anakin. And it's weird because, and again, it's kind of an excuse. He's like, oh, I can't go rescue her. I got to watch the other child of Anakin, But that's really because he doesn't want to come out and it's like he's afraid to fail again. I imagine Obi-Wan does not want to fail again. That could be probably the worst thing. If he fails Anakin, well, the next thing he can't fail is his son. But he doesn't want to worry about, the other child of Anakin, which the agreement was, I'll take him to Owen. Bail Organa will take Leia. And he's reluctant, But hey, this is
That aspect was really cool.
right. Yeah, I think that aspect is really cool.
The Bale calling him out, being like, "Bro, there's 2 children. Like, are you? Do you have like some unexplored sexism in you? Like, why are you only focused on Luke? Dude, she's been kidnapped. Like, what's going on? Get off your ass and get out there."
Yeah, you got to do right by both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like
I that's good. Bale called him out, and then when we do get the eventual pairing, you know, he does find her relatively quick, I dare say.
He does,
Like-
yeah. He kind of just walks down the street. Oh God, you see, it's like little things like that that kind of pull me out of the story.
It was like it felt rushed. It felt rushed.
He
I was
just
like,
you're in a bustling metropolis and with a missing child, and you just
Where
walk
it's-
down.
bunch of scum and villainy and
Right.
bounty hunters and lowlifes and drug dealers.
But what gets him there is probably like maybe at least a top 3 part for me is Camille. I'm not gonna try his last name, but
Oh my
his
God.
fake
Yeah.
Jedi character, that was great. That's like,
Oh,
you know,
Nonjalani?
yes, if he's a
was.
one and
Oh.
done, if he's a one and done episode character, then he's probably like, I don't know, one of the all-time one and done episode characters, because that was great. Being like
That was
using
hilarious when
the
he came
control
in.
things to like move it, and then like, you know, expecting to be paid for helping this person. That was
Haja
great.
Estri, which I think he also adds a dynamic too. It's like the Jedi are dead, but you know, there are some people who still have hope in the Jedi. So here he is gonna con people. He's like, oh, this is a Jedi mind trick. You will let these people on this ship. That's not how that works. You
That is
cannot do
hilarious.
the Force mind trick over the phone. I
Can you
couldn't
not?
believe. No, you cannot. That is terrible.
Pretty
feel like-
great. What a great scam. A great scam.
It's a good con. I mean, he is helping those people still, but like you said, what's a little bit of coin along the way? But he also does come around too, because when he realizes Obi-Wan is actually a Jedi, why does he come around? He's just like, you are not alone, Obi-Wan. Like, people.
I felt like he was just a believer, kind of just like still had hope. And I think that's like, you know, if we're gonna, like, what has been Obi-Wan's arc here, it's probably like refinding or gaining a new hope, if you will.
He
I
better
see
have
what
some
you're
saying
hope
there.
after robbing so many other people's.
Yeah, and like finding it in like some of the people he meets, you know, maybe it's that fake Jedi character, maybe it's Leia, maybe it's like some other people along the way. You know, because that's how I interpreted that. That's like, oh snap, that's a real Jedi. Like, oh, let me like stop being selfish and like go help him out.
And I like that too. I like that. And I hope he's not a one and done. I really like Kumail as an actor. And I mean, he's now in the Pantheon. He's in a Marvel film. Now he's in Star Wars. He's on his way.
He has to be in a Disney cartoon, right?
Yes, like Pixar
Okay.
or a Disney animated. Then he's got the triple threat. He's got the triple crown for
Okay.
Disney. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I do still feel it was a little rushed, this episode, of how quickly he found Leia. Like he walks into an obvious trap at one point. And I like how he got out of it though. I do like if we're calling it the sleuth Obi-Wan, where, you know, he's able to, you know, maneuver his way in a crime infested locale. You know what, he blew the spice on them and they all start hallucinating and whatnot. I like that Obi-Wan. I like because we don't really know. I mean, unless you read expanded stuff, you don't really know much about Obi-Wan's background. Like, I would like to say he was on the streets. Like, he's street smart. I don't know much about his background. Maybe we'll actually get more of his background, maybe his, you know, time prior to being with Qui-Gon. That'll be interesting to see. Like, and also, now that I mentioned it, I wonder if they're even gonna like deep dive, like or mention like Obi-Wan and Duchess Satine.
Ooh.
Right.
Go into some of the Clone
do you know
Wars.
Duchess Satine?
I know she's a Clone Wars Obi-Wan love interest, and I was curious if they were gonna kind of like maybe bring her in, but
Well,
I was kind of watching I also know what happens, despite being far behind on the Clone Wars, which makes sense because we never see her in the movies. But anyways, I was curious to see if they were going to include some Clone Wars stuff, or even some Rebel stuff if it predates this. I'm not too sure if it does. That kind of recap, and they did not. And so I'm unsure like how much they're going to pull from those aspects, because all they showed in the recap before were those original trilogy movies.
Right. And I was wondering that too. Like I started thinking, well, they're only showing clips from the movies in this like kind of like recap sequence. I think it would be kind of jarring if we threw in like also cartoons in there, like switch to cartoon, then to live action, then back to cartoon, just to show all the beats of Obi-Wan's life with like Duchess Satine and everything. I still think they like it.
I was just gonna say quickly that Satine's also not Ahsoka. I think Ahsoka transcended those Clone Wars. Like she became bigger than what that series was, and from my perspective, it does feel the Duchess Satine, right?
Satine.
Yeah, Satine.
Which is also the name of Ewan McGregor's love interest in Moulin Rouge, correct? I'm probably getting too in the weeds. Nicole Kidman's character, Moulin Rouge. Anyways, it doesn't feel like she kind of like transcended Clone Wars more, like the way Ahsoka did.
Oh no, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, but I don't know. They need to start. I mean, Deborah Chow, they make it seem like she's very invested in all aspects of the canon lore. So it'll be interesting to see who makes a jump to live action here from whether it's Clone Wars or Rebels. For example, we saw a clone trooper.
No, yeah.
I mean, I have my. It's not Captain Rex.
Rex, you think that's Rex? You're not a truth. You're
fake Star Wars fans. Fake Star Wars fans. I said it could be a number of clones. That is what I said in that TikTok. Go watch our TikTok, by the way. The fact that there is a clone here means we might get maybe some clones from the Clone Wars. Or I say as far as why I said Rex, because Rex was one of the clones that broke Order 66,
Right.
So, and to my knowledge, they just decommissioned all the clones and started using real people again for the stormtroopers. We could see their inclusion down the line, and we know Rex is alive as well.
We know Rex is alive. I remember where he was in Rebels. He was like in the desert with some other clones, and I guess they were like trading spices or something. I don't know. I remember that they were in the desert with a few other clones. But this is before Rebels, I think. Yes, it is. So
yes, this is before Rebels. Yes.
Right. And is this city in the Outer Rim, out of the Jedi's? I'm sorry, the Empire's reach?
I do not. This is a new planet, Daiyu. I don't think I've ever heard of this until this series.
Okay, because I find it kind of odd that a clone trooper is out in the open, just begging for scraps, I guess, because aren't they all supposed to be like on the whole we serve the Empire type of thing? So why is he like out just bumming it in the streets of Daiyu?
Well, but there's that 10-year gap, which I think, and again, if you want to watch all these shows, I think Bad Batch is gonna dive into.
Oh God.
As far as what happens to all the clones, and so forth.
Bad Batch is still going, right?
Bad Batch is still going. Bad Batch has a season 2 coming.
Okay. Oh, but season 1 is done. Like
Yeah, season one's over. Yeah.
Okay.
So I imagine Bad Batch can maybe answer what happens to the clones. That's the clone story. You want to know what happens to the clones? There's that. But what do y'all think about again, I know we've been talking about this all around Obi-Wan and Leia. Do you see the frustration Obi-Wan gets with dealing with a Skywalker? I feel so bad for him. Like, he can't catch a break with any Skywalker.
He never signed up for this, you know? It was Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon wanted this for
That's right.
Obi-Wan, and it's changed the complete trajectory of his entire life and pretty much establishes everything he's gonna do until the very end. Their dynamic was interesting. I'm curious to see where it goes. Like you guys were saying earlier, it's like, is this going to be what reinvigorates Obi-Wan and getting him back into that right mindset of, like, you know, going from a shell of himself to kind of be that wise samurai that he is in kind of like A New Hope, who's kind of just like, you know, he's like chilling, he's not doing a lot, but he's kind of just like, you know, buying his time until you assume Luke is ready. And so I think I could see it, because like kind of like what we were saying, it feels like right now he's just going through the motions. Yeah, he's like getting gifts for Luke. He's asking Owen, like, is he showing any Jedi traits yet? But it just doesn't feel like he's definitely not that committed Obi-Wan. He is ready at the drop of a dime to, you know, go join the rebels. He is in episode 4. And so maybe this will be what gets him on the right path. But it's also, it's like, it's funny. It feels like this show so far is trying to answer a question I've never had. And that's why did Ben never really have, you know, the same kind of commitment to Leia? Why was it just he dropped her off and, like, you know, was super hyper focused on Luke? And it would be cool at the end of this, you know, he's like had this journey with Leia, and he's like, you know what, Leia, like, you're good. Like, you clearly got your shit together. I'm gonna keep you with Bail Organa, and so I'm gonna go make sure your brother's okay. You know, he doesn't say that, but, you know,
your brother's poor.
He's a farmer.
Your brother stands at 100-degree heat all day with 2 sons.
Yeah, your brother's a farm boy. We've got to make sure he's good too. So if that's like the arc, then I could get on board with it. But right now, I'm definitely, you know, just waiting before I come to any conclusions.
You know, it's like, it's not even a question that was in the back of minds. It's like, what would be the more interesting dynamic to play out? Oh, Luke and Ben went on a whole journey prior to episode 4. That would even make that much sense. But yes, there is the, you know, that unexplored dynamic. And I think it would be cool to see, because also, you know, you got to also play with the fact that, you know, with that message she sent in episode 4, how it implies that they might have not met. I think they probably looked at that and said, we can probably loosely interpret this to where they did meet.
I was thinking about that. I was trying to remember the message. It was like, isn't she like explaining like how they know each other? He's
yes,
you served my
father in the Clone Wars. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That implies that some time had passed since their last meeting, because it's like she's reminding him that, hey, remember me?
Could be a reminder. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I can see them, you know, loosely playing around with that and trying to make those connections to make it make sense. Because like right now, she's like 10 years old. I think?
Yeah. She's 10. She's 10.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which I feel, he's so annoying, Obi-Wan. He's like, and he even says, what are you, 10? You were at the birth, man. And you know it's been 10 years. You were there.
He's playing the ignorant role. He's supposed to ask.
He doesn't have no calendar. He doesn't know what year it is. He's been lost for a long time.
I think he knows it's been 10 years. I feel bad because, like you said, he's hyper fixated on Luke that, hello, 2 babies were born that day.
Completely forgot about it.
Now, what I really do like most about this dynamic is the whole time I'm thinking, man, she's like giving him the runaround like Anakin did, but also she's very much a Padme. And I forgot all about Padme, and I feel bad that I forgot about Padme. Padme was a great character, I think. Definitely set the bar for what will be Princess Leia Organa. And I like how Obi-Wan was like, you remind me of someone, right? She's like,
yeah.
That was really nice. I did really like that illusion.
I liked how he tied it to Padme, because my first go-to wasn't Padme. Like you were thinking. I was thinking when he was making the comparison, I was like, oh yeah, kind of arrogant, stubborn. He's gonna say Anakin. Then when he said Padme, I'm like, oh my God, that's right. Padme was like that too. So I like the Padme connection with that. So I'm like, okay, that's nice. That's nice.
It's very nice. Yeah, you forget about it. I feel bad. Yes, it takes 2 to make an egg or whatever. So everyone only cares about Anakin.
And it makes sense too, because if you think about it, she's growing up to be a politician. So, similar to Padme, it fits. It fits.
Very much. Very much. Well, we already talked about it a little bit, but the Inquisitors are here, and again, Obi-Wan's out in the open now, right? Like,
right. They know, right? They send out the bounty request in episode 2, I think.
Yes, they send out the bounty request,
or rather, Reva specifically sends it out.
So smart of Reva. She's such a genius. Like, I don't know. And she hired the people to kidnap Leia. Did she know the connection? She said this would bring Obi-Wan out of hiding. How did she know that?
I think it was a Bail or a Bail Obi-Wan connection. It was like, they were friends or whatnot, kidnapping this child of theirs might bring him out. That's how I think they were trying to get it across, and how I interpreted it.
I feel like there's something that she knows about Obi-Wan.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some connection. Like, I understand, she's supposed to be an Inquisitor. Dark Force users always want power, so they want to, be very goal-oriented. I want to be the one to capture Obi-Wan, so I can present him to Vader. But I feel like Reva's coming across as this is something very personal. This is just me. She seems very fixated on specifically just Obi-Wan. And maybe it's tied to that Order 66 scene that we saw earlier. There was a youngling that kind of looked like Reva a little bit. But I don't know. Like, it's a lot of these Inquisitors, because I think even Fallen Order touched on this as well. Some of these Inquisitors become Inquisitors because they hold grudges against a specific person.
Yes.
That either wronged them or abandoned them or whatever. I remember in Fallen Order, that was like, one of the...
That was the second sister. That was her whole thing.
She didn't even become an Inquisitor willingly. She got captured.
She let her get captured.
Right.
So
I need
to replay that. It's such a good game.
It's a fantastic game, by the way. Jedi Fallen Survivor, right?
Just Survivor. Jedi
just Survivor. Okay. New game coming out soon, next year. Check it out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested in seeing what Reva's backstory is, despite just the delivery of certain lines and scenes and overselling of the ruthlessness. I think part of it also is a lot of what these Inquisitors are supposed to feel, at least for me, is they're supposed to feel intimidating, right? And I don't feel intimidated by Reva. I get the sense that she's an Inquisitor, she's evil, and she's trying to capture Obi-Wan and deliver him to Darth Vader and get a one-up on the Grand Inquisitor. But I'm just not worried when she's on screen. I am worried when the I was worried when the Grand Inquisitor was on scene, because he has like that, the typical slow talking imperialistic British accent, and you never know what he's gonna do because he's so unhinged, because he talks so calmly, but anything can set him off. So maybe that's what I was looking for with Reva, but maybe that's not the point of Reva, because she's not meant to be that intimidating of a person.
Yeah, right now it kind of feels like she's just kind of like a brash soldier,
right,
and not quite that like menacing, ominous figure. Who, we still don't quite know what role Vader is going to play in the series, but maybe that role will be taken up by Vader when he's there.
But it's also interesting too, because it's like the way they talk down to Reva. It's like, why is she the third sister? The stench of your ambition is like, I've had enough of it. You are the lowest of us, and yet
she's from the gutter.
She's from the gutter.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did y'all let her? And then that makes me think maybe Vader personally handpicked,
And maybe that's why she's this, obsessed with trying to capture Obi-Wan.
Right.
Because she's like, wow, look at that. Oh, Vader saw something in me that these other clowns didn't see. So
I'm not a big prediction person. But like the more we talk about this, one, it even come to my mind of like why they included Order 666 in the beginning of Order 66.
I think I know where you're going. Go ahead.
And they keep talking about how Hayden Christensen's back, and it's like, what does that mean? He's supposed to be like an old crusty man right now. Like,
no.
Like, what if they go with another
flashback?
They go with another flashback that shows OG Hayden Christensen, on his murderous, child rampage, finding Reva and being like, yo, you're kind of special. Why don't you come with me? I don't know.
Right. Don't
know.
Yes.
That would be great.
That's it. They saw him kill some younglings.
Mm-hmm.
What if there were some that he did not kill?
And that would show that like super devout loyalty that kind of it seems like Reva has to Vader, and like disdain for Obi-Wan for being the one who cut him down, really ruined Anakin. So
no, I mean, there's even the parallels, because Anakin did not come from the cleanest of places. You could also say he came from the poor end, like the gutters.
He was a slave.
Slave, and look what he became, for better or worse. So Reva is almost like a we keep saying the whole Anakin and Reva parallels with the Grand Inquisitor and Obi-Wan. It's there. It's happening. So I definitely find that interesting. And Disney likes taking inspiration from different aspects of Star Wars, or I guess previous Star Wars canon, I guess. So like, for example, I don't know if you guys ever played Force Unleashed.
I have the first one.
The first one's the only one that matters. You remember in the very beginning, you play as Darth Vader, and you
wreck through Kashyyyk.
You wreck through Kashyyyk, and you're destroying all the Wookiees, and it's to hunt a Jedi, and you find the Jedi, and you beat him, and you notice there's a little boy in the corner, and you're gonna kill the boy, but the boy is Force sensitive, and he kind of uses dark Force sensitive powers. So it's interesting seeing that. Wow, maybe assuming this is right, this might be a parallel to Force Unleashed, where when Anakin's going through killing the younglings, he notices something in Reva. He's like, huh, yeah.
And Reva thus becomes a Star Killer-esque character.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Because that's not canon.
That's not canon.
Which is crazy. What is canon and what is not canon? Like Jedi Fallen Order is canon. So very much we could see Cal Kestis appear, which would be so cool. But yeah, I could see them taking bits and pieces from the the sequel trilogy did that too. You know,
Right.
Kylo Ren being Ben Solo. They had three. Ben was Luke's kid in
Right.
The expanded universe, right?
Right.
So yeah, they can take bits and pieces of what they want, and because they may not be canon, but there is some quality stories there, and quality aspects of the lore that would be worth exploring in a canon format. So I can definitely see Reva being the star killer, if anything. But yeah, Grand Inquisitor, we don't know if he's dead or alive. If he's dead, it's a huge retcon, and we'll see how they play that off moving forward. Obi-Wan is now gifted with the knowledge that Anakin is alive, and he's like in complete shock and awe.
Can you tell if it's shock or awe?
He's shocked. Is he not? He's shocked. He's shocked.
How can you tell?
He thought that lava would come up and take the rest of his body, I guess.
It was a weird scene for me. It was a weird scene because I was like, wait a second.
We're talking about the ending scene, right? The one where he's
the ending scene.
Okay.
I was like, Obi-Wan, you're telling me for 10 years you ain't know Vader's still out here kicking it? For 10 years, you just been on this desert planet, not talking to anybody. You haven't like picked up like a whiff of like some like dark ominous figure just like running through the galaxy and like presumably like being the iron fist of the Empire,
because he knew he was knowledgeable about the Inquisitors.
Oh, he was.
I assumed he knew about Vader.
Oh,
and
wow.
So when that scene hits, I was like, oh, he doesn't know. It wasn't like, oh shit, now he knows. It was like he doesn't know, which I don't think was the effect they probably wanted their viewers to have. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's the thing, though. I think there's this mysticism around Vader being like the right hand of the Empire. Only those who are higher up get to meet Vader. Vader doesn't come out the Death Star unless he has to, because he sends the Inquisitors. Actually, he's got his own planet that I'm sure we're gonna see in the next couple episodes. But yeah, it's baffling to think that Obi-Wan is so out of it that for 10 years he had no inkling, no hearing of Vader being alive. But we have to live with it, I guess. I guess it makes a more interesting story, because at that point, if he did know, he probably would have. I guess it's implied he would have done something about it, or just live in fear his whole life. And this is just, I think, again, this story of Obi-Wan is about he has to overcome his fear of failing again, versus a fear of, I don't think he's afraid of Anakin. I mean, he beat him. He shouldn't be afraid,
You underestimate his power.
Obi-Wan did not underestimate his power.
Well, he
estimated it to the point.
He had the high ground.
Yeah, he knew. He's like, it's over, man.
I'm telling you, man, that they gotta make callbacks.
Don't try
it. Well, Vader can't jump anymore. I mean, he can try. I don't think he can really jump anymore.
I don't think I want to see Vader jump. I don't think I want. No.
Mm-mm.
I like the tankiness of.
Yeah,
of
he's
Vader.
gonna be a tank. Obi-Wan's gonna try to best him, and Vader's gonna like not flinch, for sure.
I'm gonna enjoy it. They gotta do the callbacks.
We're not gonna get no dumb.
Hello there.
We're not gonna get hello there. There's no way.
Can you imagine him just being that nonchalant, seeing Vader for the first time? Hello there. And he
There's no way. You're crazy. There won't be any high ground. There's one poster that shows they might fight on Tatooine. There ain't no high ground there. It's just sand.
There could be one dune higher than the.
No. But Vader might say, "I hate sand," and it gets everywhere. I don't know.
They have to. And the reason why I say they have to, they've shown like some quick little Q&As and interviews between Hayden and Ewan, and they ask them about what do you guys think about like how the attitude towards the prequels has changed since their initial inception? Because everyone hated them in the beginning, but now they've kind of they're kind of more portrayed in a more positive light because of the meme quality of it. And they're saying, oh yeah, I love the memes. I love them. I think Hayden said, I like the sand one a lot. That one's funny.
He did not say that.
Yes,
No,
he did. I saw that too.
No,
he did.
He did.
He basically said, he's like, I understand Anakin's feelings. Sand is not great. Like, and I think he said, unless you're like at a beach.
Listen, if they don't make any reference, missed opportunity. 0 out of 10.
I maybe
in clever ways. Like, don't make it so ham-fisted that it's like, okay.
If the Spider-Mans can get away with the point, then maybe we can see.
There you go.
Right. So we'll see. But overall, I think we're in for a better treat than, let's say, Boba Fett. This series is the direct follow-up to the movies, like in continuity with the movies versus another part of the galaxy. So I think that's what this series got going for it moving forward. I will be excited to see who they bring on. I know there's a list of actors too that we haven't seen yet, like O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son, is going to appear in the series.
Oh wow.
Right. I'm very curious about who's going to show up and help Obi-Wan on this journey. And then, of course, we know eventually we'll see Anakin and Obi-Wan reunite in a duel. And I think we're going to get more than one duel. So I'm excited for the series. I like what they've given us. Yes, we pointed out the few flaws so far, and I think it'll get better as we go on. We have 4 more episodes, so I'm excited.
Oh, it's only 6?
There's only 6.
Wow.
That's like their thing. It's their golden number, 6 episodes.
I guess, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, do y'all have any final thoughts?
No, I am invested in the series. Despite my gripes with certain scenes with Leia and some other characters like Reva, I still like the Obi-Wan segments. And maybe that's part of the reason why I was kind of indifferent towards the other scenes. I wanted this to just be an Obi-Wan series. So then when they take 5-10 minutes on focusing on little Leia, I'm kind of like, all right, this is fine. But what's Obi-Wan doing right now? Where is he moping? Where is he being depressed on Tatooine? I want to see that. But I get it. They're doing all this setup with these different characters, and now it's gonna be more seamless. Leia's with Obi-Wan, so any Leia scenes are gonna be with Obi-Wan, so that's fine. I guess we'll see. I didn't know it was only gonna be 6 episodes. I thought because it was like a very special series, bringing back Ewan McGregor and Kristen again. I thought maybe they were gonna do 10 or 9, 8, whatever, but I did not know they were gonna do the 6 episode stamp.
6, man. Yep.
Like MCU, Marvel, Disney, whatever. Y'all all getting 6. We don't care who you're bringing back. So it's fine. I do want to see more of it. I think it can get better from here. But we'll have to wait and see. I like the shot at the end where
yes,
you see Vader wake up in the pod, and it's like, okay, that's our big boy, our sand boy. Can't wait to have him come back on Tatooine, home of sand. But yeah, we'll see. I'm here for it. I did not enjoy it as much as some other people I've seen praise the first 2 episodes, but I'm okay with it. I'm fine. I'm still here. Let's just see where the rest of the episodes have to go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar spot. Just excited to see what happens next. Feels like, there's a lot of pieces I'm intrigued by. I'm still kind of on the fence if I like them or not, if I think they're going to end up paying off. I do hope they pay off, but I think it's definitely kind of in a wait and see mode right here. What I like about it being 6 episodes is that, can't really waste any time. You kind of have to like get to where you want to get to pretty quickly. And so I hope in the next episode we move even further along in what the story is. And yeah, for at least right now, I'm pretty locked in. I don't know if I said this at the top, but I wasn't too intrigued by Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett enough to watch those. I've always been kind of like a movie Star Wars guy, and everything else always felt like kind of, optional to me. And, something about this series, Ewan McGregor, I think the trailer had Duel of Fates playing in it. I think it's just like, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to miss this one. And I don't regret my decision so far tuning in. So.
Well said. Well said. Yes. Series, you should get on them. They give you something. Maybe not your movie quality, but they're not limited by the parameters of the movies and what what needs to happen and what can happen. They do their own thing. However, this series again is our first series that directly follows the movies and probably will play into the movies. So we'll see what they do.
And funny enough, Kathleen Kennedy, recently,
what's that stupid thing she said?
Oh no, well, there was that, but I was gonna mention the direction. Actually, I think it's kind of tied into what you think I'm gonna say.
When she said we can no longer recast
it's tied to that.
Characters with younger actors, or
didn't they just do that?
They just did it. They just did it.
They
Yeah.
just did it?
Yeah,
I hate it.
With Luke,
was that like a misdirect?
I hated when she said that. I was like, I don't think that was a misdirect. That was her being stupid. I don't like that.
She literally this show goes against exactly what she just said.
I think it was in that same statement where she also said they're putting all their future films on hold, except for Taika Waititi's Star Wars film. Whenever that's going to come out. She said that's still on the way, but she says the future of Star Wars for now is seemingly in these continuity type of TV series. They have no big plans to set up the next big trilogy or the next big set of movies. They're just like, hey, Mandalorian is doing very well. Boba Fett, I don't know what the numbers were for Boba Fett, but maybe they were good enough. And now we have Obi-Wan. So I think this is the direction they're going to go in for a good while with Star Wars. So it's a great time to tune in for a lot of these expanded series.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm good with that. I think I was like 7 when Phantom Menace came back, but it was kind of like this big event. It was like kind of like, yo, Star Wars is back. It's like, where'd it go?
Yep.
And then even when Force Awakens, which I think became, at least on its release, like the highest domestic grossing movie of all time, there was a lot of excitement about like Star Wars returning, like, new players. And so I do think I think Star Wars is always at its best when, there's like just a lot of excitement behind it. And I think we need to get back there, because I think if you were to announce like a new Star Wars movie tomorrow, I think a lot of people would be like, I'm still good. I think we need some time away from it. And maybe these TV shows and some of the comic books they've been doing that I've heard really good things about kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah. Again, the Star Wars lore is so expansive. You can find enjoyment in many other aspects than just the movies. And I think they're all worth giving a try and exploring. I, for one, am sticking to the series and the games right now. And you did buy me that book too that I need to read about the old era. So
yeah, I think the High Republic.
The High Republic.
Ooh, High Republic.
It was only like, a 50-page comic book that I got, you for Christmas that you seemingly have not even opened yet. It's fine.
I'm sorry, my brother got that for me. Who are you?
I got it for my long lost brother. No relation to GrandMasterHoop.
Right, I got it in the mail, and I assume it was from my long lost brother. Right.
Yeah. But But yeah, the High Republic series is pretty cool because they take place, I think, hundreds years, like maybe 200 years before Phantom Menace. And yeah, I just agree. I haven't played Force Awakens, but I've heard great things about that too. So there's a lot out there.
Oh, Fallen Order.
Play Fallen Order.
Yeah, not Force Awakens. Fallen Order.
Play that one. You'll enjoy it.
Very enjoyable.
If you like Elden Ring and all that, there's customization and story. It's more story.
It's easier than Elden Ring. I'll tell you that.
It's probably easier than Elden Ring.
Ring.
We probably should have another Star Wars talk because they announced some other stuff. But I'm gonna close it off like this. Hey, check out Obi-Wan, folks. New episodes come out on Wednesday, so we'll be back on Wednesday to talk about episode 3. Be sure to follow us here at the Yonkō Table on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Again, we put in some of our hot takes and our quick takes, our initial reactions on there. Be sure to follow us on there. And again, if you ever want to watch us, we got our YouTube that you can go check out. But of course, podcast listening station, Spotify, and of course, Apple Podcasts. But that is it from us here at the Yonkō Table, deep diving part 1 and 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm GrandMasterHoop, fellow Yonkō DrJaceAttorney, and fellow Supernova HooperTV. We're signing off. We'll see you next time.